Hello there and welcome to this video in which I, Viktor Thorup, biohacker, bachelor in health and nutrition, and also a two-time Olympian, will be reviewing this wonderful little thing that I've tested out for 4 months by now called the Neurable MW75. Pretty incredible tool if you want to not just track but also learn how to act accordingly to your brain waves. I've been testing a ton of these type of devices, including the popular ones, the Alphabeats, the NeuroVizr, and now the Neurable. This guy here brings a whole new level of quality into the sector of tracking and hacking your neuro data. Now, before we get started, I do want to point out that everything I say in this video is my own opinion. I did test these before I reached out to Neurable and asked, yo, can you guys hit me up with a discount code for me to share with my followers if they decide up getting a pair themselves. So if you're entirely new to the whole concept of tracking your brain waves, well, in short, it is an EEG monitor basically. So it monitors and tracks your brain waves. This one here has the electrodes here around the ears. The only thing that's really crucial to this is that you do not have hair in the area, which is why I find these super smart as they go around the ear basically. That allows them to track the brain waves, in particular alpha waves, which are very, very saying in terms of how well we focus and how well we manage to throw away all the things that are not really essential to the task we have at hand. Long story short, this guy here live manages to track our brainwaves and basically see how focused we are. Neurable here, they combine that with a really functional AI engine that will then immediately basically come up with suggestions on how we can improve our focus. It's going to track how well we deal with tasks for long periods of time, and the amount of insights and, more importantly, the amount of changes that I personally, and I believe you would be able to make using these is very interesting. Now, before we dive into how they actually work, the app, etc., I want to touch on the price point. These come out at $700. Now, obviously, if you use my discount, it will be about almost $100 below, but I do think that's fairly high when we talk about the price. The reason for this is because this is really a premium headset on top of being able to read your brain waves. I use this one instead of my Beats headphones. It comes with noise canceling feature that works incredibly well. I've been testing these out on quite a few long flights and they are just really solid. Long battery life, at least 8 hours, including the tracking, which is pretty impressive to me. And then you can just tell they are decent quality. The sound is premium. So I do think when we think $700 or $600 with the discount, I do think we have to compare that to a premium Bose, Beats, Apple pair of headset that now also can read your mind basically. I do think it's pricey, but I also definitely think it's worth it. Having this headset will mean that you only need a single headset. It's easy to adjust here and the buttons are also pretty easy once you get a feel for it. It took me about a week and then I was comfortable in the volume, up, down, pause. It also detects automatically when you lift it off your ear and then it's going to shut off the noise canceling and even pause the sound or music that you have in your ears. A nice little cool feature is it manages to adapt sounds or the volume of the sounds to your focus levels. That way, if the sound decreases, it means you're less focused. Super cool feature that I use a lot when I do other tasks and say listen to music at the same time to see if is that music actually stealing my attention or is it bringing me in this zone of being productive. Now it really goes to show what a premium product we're actually talking about when you look inside the box. First of all, box is super nice, comes with a solid case, and then it has all these accessories, including a charging cable obviously, and so you can use it for a jack input and not just a USB-C. I do think the box is rather big, so you need to make room for that if you're bringing that along for your journeys. Often, say every single time actually, I usually just travel with them around my neck here for the long flights, or the quality is good enough that I can just put them in my backpack as I travel. Now let's talk more about how they actually feel, how they actually work, and how much you can get out of the app. There's a good chance if you're watching this video is because you're already considering buying the Neurables, and I will try my best here to make you feel what it feels like having them. The first fun thing that you actually come across when you install the app is a Rocket game. And I think to me that really showed like, wow, we are on a whole new level in terms of being fully able to live track our brain focus. The rocket game is where there is a rocket on your screen, and the more you focus on that rocket, the higher it flies up. Seems like a very simple task, but it also goes to show like being focused is a rather complicated task, because immediately as you focus on the rocket, it spits out some fire at the bottom. You can see the things around it getting blurred. It accelerates, and all of a sudden that's what you're focusing on. So this is a super cool exercise that I actually used not just for the intro where you get a fun feeling of what brain tracking actually is, but it is super cool, like an eye-opener in some way to, wow, this is not as easy as I thought it would be. There are different levels to being focused. The rocket game is also always a thing you can come back to later on, where you can really just practice and see how well you improved in terms of keeping your focus straight. The average human being can only stay fully focused for 47 seconds, which is basically nothing. Great wake-up call here to basically learn to use your concentration better. Now, the real thing I really think you can get out of this, other than just the fun of seeing how well you concentrate and focus, is being able to improve on that and especially time that. So the one thing I found the most beneficial for me is that the Neurable will tell you when to do a short break when you are doing tasks that demand high focus. For me, it's either writing emails or writing sponsors, making my meal plan for the week, or again, as a professional athlete, it might be a little different from you guys' life, but things like writing my training diary. After a training session, I try and take all the thoughts, all the technical adjustments I made in my skating training and put those into words. Some of it can also just be coaching people online, which I do for hours a week. I sit down 3 hours and try and be as focused as I can doing these tasks. And the Neurable really made me realize that, wow, I am not able to stay focused for much more than 45 minutes at a time. And it will show you not just focus or not focused, it will give you the different ranges of being focused, and it will suggest you take a break. I'm gonna share a screenshot here that is not just a simple screenshot, it's one of a lot of screenshots where you can see that already after 20-25 minutes, I started losing that focus, and instead I take a 5 to 10 minute break when the Neurable tells me to, and I come back and immediately bounce back in terms of alpha waves and being focused on the task at hand, which that is incredible. And I do really think over a longer course of time, even if I take these breaks, I manage to get more stuff done. I'm also able to see after a long day of training, am I actually able to focus here? And one thing that I really learned with the Neurable is that I am much more focused in the morning. So usually what I would do is I would do things on my laptop, things that demands a little bit more focus. I would do those in the afternoon, get the hard workout done in the morning, do those, and maybe an easier workout later in the day. I have come to know and learn that it's way, way, way more productive for me to simply just wake up an hour earlier and get it done there, which honestly, over the course of the last months, I think I've been able to do the amount of work that would take me 2 hours in 1 hour in the morning. And that is super cool because it's not really a thing. I don't feel awake in the morning, but once I sit down, I am way more productive, that I am better in the morning. And the Neurable definitely proved that. Then on top of that, there's just so many other things that I managed to test. Like, wow, I do get a ton more work in when I sit in specific spaces. Things that I'm not actively aware of, but saying just the difference between sitting in a cubicle, the brain waves are so much better than just sitting outside it where there's background, things going on, people open a door, there's a wind flow, the sun comes in and out of a window. It is much harder than you think to maintain focus. And the final one is background music. I have always had a habit of just listening to a podcast or listening to music in the background. Easily came to learn that even though it's calming, relaxing, I cannot stay focused if I'm listening to active speaking in the background. Whereas if I listen to coffee, vibe, jazz, lounge music that doesn't have any actual talking in it, I am way more focused. So just another interesting fact there that I've changed my playlist to be more productive, and it made a huge difference. Now, the final thing here that for me personally meant a world of a difference that I think athletes out there can relate to is how long can we actually stay focused. In a lot of sports, skating is probably one of the best examples, but take any sport where you need precision, coordination, and just a high technical focus. Being able to measure how focused you actually are can help you reschedule your training plans and make them much better. For me, slideboard training is a thing where we basically take the physical aspect out of skating, we glide from one side to the other. In that workout, we have shortened things down from 8 to 12 minutes of active work all the way down to 30 seconds to 60 seconds at the most, because that is where I really can remain focused and make those thoughts into active changes. So I keep the technical workouts technical. Same goes for the turn belt, inline skating. It is just really fun working these just to see to what extent can you actually stay focused when that is the goal. Obviously, if I go for a 5-hour bike ride, I could not care any less about the focus. So here it's more of a cardio workout. But the ones where you want to be focused, this is huge in terms of actually being able to track and adapt to your level of focus. So in conclusion, the Neurable headset MV75 here is just a fantastic tool to understand your brain and to really adapt for it so you can stay focused. I think it is a pricey headset, but when you look at it, it is just $100, $200 more than a headset of the same quality without the EEG tracking here in the inside. So the electrodes that allow you to actually track your brain. I do think the app saves you so much time over the course of a week, a month, a year, where I simply work way less, but I get much more done. That's kind of a miracle. And the cool part is it's individual for every one of us, but this guy here will definitely help you understand it. I have been positively surprised. I really just got these to test them out because I had learned from the Alphabeats, I had learned from the NeuroVizr how much of an impact our focus, our alpha waves actually have on how well we function in everyday life. So just going through all these different devices, I love to share the ones that I really find useful, and this one is definitely one of them. So if you're hesitating, this has my warm recommendations. It is the most simple, it's the most smooth app I've tried so far, and it just works. And then one final little note is technically not reviewing this thing, but God, it helps a lot in keeping your focus, that you start by clicking on an app and saying, this is my focus session. Already at that point, you have decided that you're fully focused here, and somehow you're not gonna open your Instagram and start scrolling once you click that focus button on your app. So just a little piece of advice here, when you're trying to stay focused, when you're trying to get work done, make sure you're in it. I hope this was useful. If you have questions on the Neurable here or any of these other brainwave tracking devices, let me know in the comment section below and I'll come back to you with the best answer I got. If not, I hope you want to stay tuned for more biohacking review videos and subscribe to my channel. I am Viktor Thorup. I had fun having you guys here. Best of luck out there.